to everybody listening in on the Town of Sevastopol's public hearing on the proposed 2021 budget on Monday, November 30th at 6 p.m. As I have done in the past few years, I will go through the town budget worksheet, which the town board went through in October, and I will highlight or summarize some of the differences, both positive and negative, in terms of increases or decreases to our budget for everyone that may be listening in. I apologize if you don't have a hard copy in front of you, but it was on the town's website, so it would have been available had you taken a moment to take a look at it. At any rate, I'm going to begin under expenditures and general government. There are no changes to the salaries of either the chairman or the supervisors. However, we did increase the salary of the clerk treasurer. We're taking her from $53,700 to $55,700. Excuse me, that's correct. An increase year over year. We certainly feel that Amy has done an outstanding job for us and will continue to do so. So that's the only change in terms of salaries. The next item that's pretty much stays the same is the attorney, our legal enforcement. We've kept that number at $15,000. Our attorney has been quite involved this year, and we anticipate she will continue to be involved in some of the projects the town has undertaken, such as our attempted expansion of broadband for the community, as well as our short-term rental ordinances. And she was highly involved in the successful removal of the Muscat property across from the Mills Supper Club. So we have $15,000 in there to deal with those issues. Election supplies, you'll be glad to note that that's going to drop from $3,200 to $1,750, which is a decrease. And of course, that's focused on the fact that there are less elections, which is a good thing for all of us, especially those people that have to count the ballots. Election poll workers will decrease from $7,500 to $3,000, again for the same reason. Postage, basically the decrease from our actual of $39.82 will be down to $2,600. I guess the note on postage is if you applied for a absentee ballot, that absentee ballot got to you via the mail, and the town pays postage to send that absentee ballot out, and it pays postage to return that ballot. I would ask you in the future to trust the post office. If we made the investment to send it to you, you received it, there's a very good chance the post office is going to return your vote to us. Don't make us waste postage unnecessarily. It just adds to our budget expense. Office supplies, 2020 budget was $6,000, will decrease to $5,000. We're going to make the clerk go back to using carbon paper. This will decrease the budget significantly. I'm just kidding with respect to that, Amy. Okay, but it is a decrease. Assessor reval, typically we have been putting money aside every year for that. We did not do that in 2020. We are resuming that again in 2021, putting $5,000 towards the eventual reval, giving us a total of about $108,000 set aside for that future event. The only other change here is a slight increase year over year in terms of office equipment supplies, and basically that's just simply attributed to the amount of things that are going on with our various committees in terms of copier expense, etc. Okay. Town hall grounds budget current year was $5,000. It's going to decrease to $2,500. Last year we had incurred some extra expense for flagpole lights and adding an additional light at the entrance to the town, so it's easier for people coming in and during the winter hours to see where the driveway was. So it's a decrease. There will be going down to town hall. In 2020 our budget was $7,000. In 2021 it's going to be approximately $10,000. We had a fairly significant increase in town hall expenses last year, but that was due to the fact that we had to upgrade our furnace control system, which came at, I think it was around $7,000 or $8,000 expense that we did not anticipate. Any rate, this year we're going to add, increase it a little bit to continue to put shelving into some of the closet spaces that we have. The buildings, some of our closet and storage spaces become a little unruly, so we've bumped that up a little bit, and that'll be the expense or where we'll spend that money. Building and inspection fees, 2020 budget was $25,000. Our actual at the end of the year is going to be $60,000. There was unbelievable amount of activity in the town, and so we've raised our budget item there to $45,000. Budget building expenses are a little bit confusing because the town only nets 10% of the building inspection fees. The rest go to the building inspection company.
Dan, excuse me, I'm not sure that Jeannie can hear. Let me see if she wants to use these headphones. Hold on a second.
All right.
Jeannie, these will make it louder.
Okay, I can hear. The problem is the refrigerator went off. Otherwise, I can hear.
Unplug it.
No.
There's a volume control here. You can adjust
Okay,
it.
all right. Just set it there.
It makes
Thank
a
you.
big difference. Thank you, Dan.
No problem. Year over year, town employees at the park, we have a slight decrease in there, a couple $1,000s. We will be looking for people again for next summer, so if you have someone that's interested, please let our town clerk know. We can always use help to prepare the ball fields and cut grass. The only other expense that really changes significantly is the plan commission expense. The budget was $45,50 in calendar year 2020, and this year we're projecting $10,000. More than half, or almost half of that amount is due to the renewal of the Bay Lake Regional Planning Commission. That fee is over $4,600. But they have been very helpful in helping us develop our comp plan. They're also currently working on our public service grant with Door County Broadband to hopefully obtain some matching funds from the PSC to put up a couple towers to improve internet access in the community. Fire protection. 2020 budget was $356,000. Our 2021 budget will be $366,702. During the course of this year, we were able to renegotiate our fire coverage with the city of Sturgeon Bay. We have a new 3-year agreement with a 3% cap on growth, which is an absolute positive for us for both planning purposes and also is a good and reasonable number to pay in terms of increased cost year over year. Under our old protection plan, going back 7-8 years, had we left that in force, we'd have been over $500,000 right now in terms of cost for fire protection. So we've been fortunate to work with the city, and the city's done a good job for us. So there's certainly no complaints. I think we're getting good value for our money. All right. All of the items under first responders are basically pretty much flat year over year, not any changes. Our biggest change would come underneath public works, underneath road maintenance and mowing. This year we had a budget of $24,000, and for 2021 it'll decrease to $8,000. The big difference there is that in the prior and alternating years, we cut fence line to fence line, and this next year will be a single cut versus fence line to fence line, and it's obviously less money to do that. Under road maintenance and repairs, current budget was $36,000. We actually spent $62,000 for road maintenance and repairs, but the increase really is not as simple as that. What happened is we had to recategorize some of our expenses that fell underneath road construction, and we had to move those back into road repair. Otherwise, the number would be pretty much flat, and we're going to maintain that for 2021, maintaining a $36,000 budget item. Road construction, which we increased last year for the first time in a number of years to $275,000. We'll go up this year to $300,000. We will do a road tour in the month of May. Whether that's a tour of one person or five depends on COVID and vaccines. But we will go out and inspect the roads. If you have comments on your roads, please pass them forward to our town clerk. And we will go out and inspect them in May and try and make a determination of what things we might be able to do for you. Snow removal. This has been the wild card year over year. Current budget is $130,000. We still have the month of December to go. We are expecting right now our expenses to come in around $100,000 this year, but of course that's subject to old man winter. So we're going to stay with the $130,000 in 2021. Historically, we seem to go over budget in snow removal every year, and it grows significantly. So those are the only changes in those categories. Next item falls under the category of parks. The town park fields, we're going from a budget of $3,000 down to $2,500. I'm spending a little less there. We do get a contribution from the school for the maintenance and upkeep of the ball fields that are used for the school. School parks and grounds, we had a budget on this year of $4,250. We had an actual spend of $7,700 year to date, and that was due to some problems we incurred with the baseball field, and we had to incur some expense there to repair that, as well as to deal with a grub problem in the field. So we had to spend some extra money with Spring Green to control that. I think it was the second or third year in a row that we've had that expense. Dropping down to our cable communications area, the program director, that's the gentleman who's running this show, Laddie Chapman. We're taking, excuse me, we're taking his position up from $8,650 to $9,600 for the year, and we are changing the videographer contract as well from $2,550 to $3,600. We have increased the payment to Laddie for his shows that he records on behalf of the town, and that is what's represented in that cost. The next item is broadband expansion grant. I touched on that a couple minutes earlier. This is something new that the town has undertaken and talked about for a number of years. We are anticipating a potential, and I say potential, expense of up to $75,000, which is to apply for a matching grant with Door County Broadband to the Public Service Commission with the idea that the $75,000 that the town is putting forth and the $75,000 from Door County Broadband would be matched by the PSC with a $150,000 grant to allow for placement of a couple internet towers in our town, with the idea that over time the town will make an effort to expand our broadband throughout the community, especially in the interior areas where cable charter service is not available. At this point in time, we do not know whether we will incur this expense. It's subject to the PSC, and the PSC granting process comes up, I believe, in March. So we will not know whether we will incur this expense or not until we get to March, and we'll keep people informed as of that time. Okay, topping out of that back into the park, and this is under capital outlay. Our capital outlay for 2020 was $23,000. We're going to take that up to $40,000 in 2021. There's a number of expense items. We still have to deal with a ball field that's out there. We're also working on the replacement of the tennis courts and various other projects. So we're going to take some of the money that we had had to pay in prior years towards this building, which was paid for by room tax, and we're going to use some of those dollars to take care of some of the issues that we have at the town park. Going to cable equipment, budget expense, it's going to go from $5,000 in the current year to $0. We do not expect to have any additional cable equipment. We are switching more to a contractor-based solution for our communications and TV, and a lot of that responsibility will fall upon the program director. All right. So under town hall grounds, this is a little confusing even to me, and I helped construct the budget. We want to maintain a rolling $50,000 fund to cover any expenses that might be incurred, such as we did a few years ago with the well, which was unexpected. And we as a board have decided that we are always going to keep that fund at $50,000, and if we spend money during the year, we will replenish it. So our fund dropped to $36,000 this year. It'll come back up to the $50,000 target, but we don't actually have to put any funds in there for 2021 because we had some funds in another account that were not used, so we're simply transferring those funds over. So when all of this happens, the fund will be back to the $50,000, but actually looking at the budget worksheet, there's no dollars submitted in that category. So when you total all of this stuff up, you get total expenditures and debt. Budget year 2020 was $1,237,250. And budget year 2021, we're anticipating $1,322,661. So revenue and expenses. I'm going to go down here and we'll go to town hall rental income. This has dropped significantly from the current year $2,200 to $500. Obviously, with COVID, we are not renting the room out to any groups. Hope that might recover mid-year next year, but at this point, we don't anticipate much. The same applies for our income. With respect to our pavilion at the park, that'll be a decrease from $750 to $250. Our player sponsor fees, we're cutting in half from $800 to $400. And our concession sales from $1,700 to $200. Hopefully we'll be able to do some of this. Obviously the community would enjoy it, but at this point in time our budget numbers are going to be, income numbers will be decreased significantly. Under miscellaneous revenues, the videographer's income, again, there's a change there. Again, due to COVID, Laddie was unable to tape a lot of events, obviously, because a lot of events didn't happen. So therefore, our income and the events that we would normally have on our cable TV station did not occur. Room tax receipts, we're doing a slight decrease from $85,000 to $80,000. We face the continuing problem of COVID, not knowing exactly how that'll impact room tax revenues. And there's also the component that Airbnb and VRBO are not directly paying for to each municipality. It's kind of lumped sum into the room tax commission and they distribute it, and there's room in there now under the new process. I shouldn't say room, there's an opportunity for error in there, and so we're just backing that number down a slight amount. The next item that we take a significant decrease on is our interest. Anticipated a lot more interest over the course of the year, but with the economy and COVID, we dropped from a budget of $8,000 down to a projected 2021 of $3,500 in interest earned. So with that, subtotal revenues for 2020 were $472,000 and change, and are anticipated in 2021 to be $474,000 and change. Okay. And So when you take all of this good stuff and put it all together, our tax levy receipts, which were $626,658 in 2020, are anticipated to be $631,584, which is the maximum tax levy that the town can levy under the guidelines by the state governor and legislature. Our revenues and tax receipts, our revenue and tax receipts total come out to $1,105,836, and the town will apply $216,825 from our room tax fund, which takes our total revenues to $1,322,661. So, not that anybody's in love with all these numbers, here's the important number. Your mill rate will decrease year over year, and if I'm correct, it's 3 years in a row that your mill rate has decreased year over year. It will drop to 0.8658. So it is, in sight of everything that's happened, I think it's good news. It will not be a tax increase from a town perspective. I can't speak to where the county and the school and NWTC fall into that category, but from a town board's perspective, we continue the trend to actually come under year over year. So I would love to take some questions, but given the fact that there is no audience this evening, I will just open it up to anybody that might have a question from the town board, if there are any. Anybody?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
We have, 30 minutes to kill here. I found it very unusual that if you look at our total assessed valuation between last year and this year, so our total assessed valuation went from 724 million to 729.5 million. But our equalized value, so that's only a $5 million difference.
Right.
But our equalized valuation went from 753 million to 780 million, which is like a $25 million increase. So we have to start watching for that
Change that could
reval
happen with the
and things
reval.
like that.
What was do you recall from the meeting in June where he thought we sat at that time? Right about 99%, am I right?
Roughly right. He was here the other day, and he is having a lot of issues with the lake and the bay, prices and those values. So it might come sooner than what we anticipated.
Maybe we should make a point to Linda's comment to just ask him, given the most recent, if he's got a better percent, an updated percent, so we know where we're at. Because I think with the $105,000 we have set aside, I think we anticipate that could be as much as 140 to 150.
Depending on which way we go.
Correct. So, okay.
And then the postage, even though we're hopefully going to have only 1 or 2 elections for 2021, I expect a lot of those same people will be requesting absentees, but I'm sure we can cover that postage within that category. Yes, we spent some extra money for that driveway light, but it is really doing a great job. Whenever I go past here at night, it was so hard to see that driveway, and I think that was a wise investment, so.
Okay. Any other comments from anyone? Okay. That being the case, I'll close the public hearing on the proposed budget for 2021. And we will go directly, as noticed, to the special town board meeting, which was noticed for tonight, approximately 6:30, so we're 4 minutes ahead of ourselves, or immediately following the public hearing. So with that, I'll call to order the special town board meeting, and ask you to please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Introductions and procedures. I think, given the size of our audience and the location of some of our boards, we might consider not doing that this evening. You probably know all of us all too well. And the only piece of real business we have to approve, or I should say first piece of business, is to approve the previous minutes from the budget meeting on November 25th of 2019. And you should have a copy of that in front of you. So whoever would like could make a motion to approve those minutes.
All right, I will move to approve the minutes of our previous special town meeting, budget meeting, that was held on November 25th, 2019.
All right, a motion by Linda, second by?
I'll second.
Second by Derek, to approve the previous minutes from our 2019 special town meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Did I hear you back there, Jeannie?
You bet you did.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, next item of business is the approval, is the resolution number 7, 2020T, town, to adopt the tax levy for 2020 to be collected in 2021. All right. And for those of you who like to hear about all this good stuff, I will read the motion, or will read the resolution, excuse me, which is to adopt the tax levy for 2020. Whereas under section 60.10 of Wisconsin statutes authorizes the town electors of a town to adopt a tax levy at a town meeting of the electors, and whereas the special town meeting of the electors of the town of Sevastopol has been called this 30th day of November 2020, and whereas the 2021 proposed budget, as presented by the Town Board of Supervisors, projects a total expenditures of $1,322,661, with a general property tax levy of $631,584. Now therefore, the special town meeting of the town of Sevastopol, Door County, Wisconsin, by a majority vote of the eligible electors voting on this 30th day of November 2020, duly assembled and voting, resolves and orders as follows. Be it resolved that the electors of the town of Sevastopol, Door County, Wisconsin, hereby adopt the town tax levy for 2020 to be collected in 2021 in the amount of $631,584, which is the total tax levy including debt. It's adopted this 30th day of November at a special town board meeting. So, if anyone has any questions with respect to this, if not, a motion to approve would be in order.
I'll move to approve it.
Motion by Laddie, there we go, man from the floor. All right,
The man.
the man, thank you. Second by?
I'll second.
Second by Mark, to approve resolution number 07-2020T, to adopt the tax levy for 2020. Any discussion from anyone? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. Since we have no other submitted resolutions, the next motion would be one to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion by Laddie, second by?
I'll second that.
Second by Jeannie. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Join us for the 7 o'clock town board meeting.